So welcome class 5. In my last video, whatever I have provided you, offline video, I have completed 2 chapters. So you kindly complete your question answers, activity question answers, and whatever the content is given there, you just go through them and write all the question answers. If you have any confusion, you can ask me in my live class. Okay, now today we will start the new chapter, blow hot and blow cold. So the concept of the chapter is with the same blow. If we are blowing something, that means we are just giving, that is the blow. When we are blowing air from our mouth, sometimes it gives the effect of coolness and sometimes it becomes the hot. When we are keeping our hand, and nowadays as we are wearing the mask, that time you can feel warmth within your mask, because the air which is coming out from your nose, that is the exhalation, that making the air warmth inside our mask. So the object which is near to us, that makes the warmth, and that is the warm air we feel. And when something is distance and something is away from us, and that time when we are blowing the air, that time it gives the cool effect. So the full answer, or you can say the chapter, depend on this concept, and but the this is in a story form and a very funny story form. So let's start. Blow hot and blow cold. There was a woodcutter. Every day in the morning he used to go to the forest and collect the wood, and he sell the wood in the city. One day he went deep into the forest, and that time it was frozen cold, and he was feeling very much cold. That's why he rubbed his hand and tried to blow his hand. That time when we blow the hand within our mouth and near to the mouth, it becomes a breath come out, which is very compared to the outer atmosphere, compared to the outside air, it becomes warm. So he, just to make his hand warm, he just breathe out and he feel the warmth in his hand. So every now and the woodcutter would put down his axe and bring his hands close to his mouth, then he would blow hard onto them to warm them. While he was cutting wood, Mia Baliste means a person who is having this much size. This is one balish. So we can say the person who is just this much tall, that person is called the Mia Baliste. Saw that the woodcutter kept blowing on his hand, and he wanted to ask what he is doing, but he could not understand it. He got up thinking that he would go and ask the woodcutter. After walking a little, he came back thinking that the woodcutter may not be being asking him. So he went hopping to the woodcutter and asked, "Hello brother, if you don't mind, I would like to ask you something." Seeing this tiny person, the woodcutter become amazed. He become very surprised to see this man, but he smiled and said, of course, what you want you can ask me. So why do you blow your mouth onto the hand? He asked, the Mia Baliste asked, but what was his answer? He said, it is too cold, so I am just making my hand warm. So the woodcutter replied, it is too cold and my hands are frozen, so I blow on them to make them warm. Then when he get cold again, I warm them again by blowing. So Mia Baliste understood that blowing anything means we are making that thing warm. Okay, but it is not always work like the same. Then he moved, but he stayed nearby and kept an eye on the woodcutter. But in the afternoon, the woodcutter become hungry, and he think of making lunch. He picked up 2 stones and made a chulha. He lit a fire and put some small handi on it and put some potatoes to boil. The wood was damp, so the woodcutter bent down and blow again to make the light, and fire to it helped to burn. We know oxygen helps for burning, so he blow the air within that chula, so the fire can be burned. But by seeing this, Mia Baliste again become very surprised, and he said, "Arey!" He said to himself, there he goes again, blowing from his mouth. That means, is it fire is within his mouth? So the woodcutter was feeling very hungry. He took out the potatoes from the handi, and it was so hot, so he wanted to make them little bit cool. So again he blow it, and then to make it cool, he again blow it. So he again then blow it fo. Are, said Mia Baliste to himself, he is blowing again. Now what he want? He want to burn the potatoes, because he knew his concept was blowing makes the thing warmer. So he thought that potatoes are warm as such, and then again if we'll blow on it, then it will become more warmer and maybe it will burn. So it become very amazed to see, and then he thought that he wanted to burn his mouth. So he became so surprised, he could just not stop himself. He went hopping to the woodcutter. Hello brother, he said, if you don't mind, can I ask you a question again? The woodcutter replied, not at all, ask whatever you want. Mia Baliste said, the morning you told me that you blew on your hands to warm them up. Now you are blowing on these potatoes now you are blowing on this potato which is already so hot. Why do you want to make is hotter? No, my little friend, this potato is too hot and I am blowing on it to cool. So when the heard this, Mia Baliste face become white, he become scareful, and he went back away. The woodcutter was a good man. He said, what's wrong, Mia? Are you trembling because of the cold? But Mia Baliste kept going backward. When he was safe distance, he said to himself, what kind of creature he is? Surely he must be a ghost or a jinn. Blow hot, blow cold with the same breath. Is it not possible? So it was very amazing. It is very surprising for him. With the same blow, the things are becoming cool. With the same blow, the things are becoming hot. How it is possible? Isn't it? So it is a very amazed question for him. He become very surprised to see that same thing is making the things cool as well as the same things making the things hot. So how it is possible? As we know, the oxygen, whatever the food we eat, they become oxidized within our body, and they are combustion. Combustion means they are burned inside our body and releasing carbon dioxide. When we are breathing out, so the carbon dioxide exhalation, that means the air which is coming out from our body, that is after the oxidation of the food, and that is full of carbon dioxide as well. It is warm because after the oxygen, because food is being combustion, or you can say it is being burned inside our body. So the hot air comes out from our mouth in comparison to the outside air. And when the things are little bit from our distance, when the things are being on distance, and when we are giving out the breathe out, that time it mixes with the outside air and it becomes cool and it becomes cold. Okay, so this is the reason we know the things are being using up, and these are the fundamental reasons for this blowing hot and blowing cool. And one more thing, as we know, when we are exhaling the breath, when we are giving out the air from our mouth, that is not total percentage is carbon dioxide, there is little bit of oxygen is there. So during when something is not burning properly, that time we use to blow that thing so that it can burn properly. Okay, so these three fundamental things you should know. These are related to science. You should know the air, how they are working. We know air is also help to burn. So there is a question maybe arise that whatever the thing or we are blowing out, that is carbon dioxide, but carbon dioxide, maybe the percentage of carbon dioxide is more in the exhaling breath, but it is not total the carbon dioxide. There is little bit oxygen is also there, and with this oxygen we can make the fire burn fastly, or we can make the fire burn. Okay, so these all are the things are there. Few questions I will few questions are there which I will discuss with you, and 1 and 2 answers I have written here so that you can write the answer from here. Okay, Mia Baliste was confused. Have you warmed your hand in the winter? Yes, sometimes, no, when you are coming to the school and in the bus in the cold wind, sometimes we rub our hand and sometimes we blow our air from our nose to the hand, so it becomes hotter. And nowadays you can feel it as the we are wearing the mask and we can feel the hot air inside the mouth. Now blow hand from your mouth onto your hands. How did you find the air from your mouth as compared to the air around, whether it is hotter and cooler? So whatever we are breathing out, whatever the air we are giving out, that is hotter in comparison to the outer air. And then now you put your hands some distance, so when the we are feeling when the hands are in the distance, that time the hand becomes cool. As the air covers the distance, it mixes with the atmospheric air and it becomes cool. Okay, now can you think any other some ways where you can use the warmth of your breath? Sometimes we injured in our eyes, sometimes there is some wound, and whenever mostly when you injured somewhere in your eyes and water running from your eyes, that time what you do? You just take a handkerchief, blow it little bit and then keep it on your eyes, and it relieves us, isn't it? So this is also a use injured part, we use this warmth. Now for next is baliste. So the woodcutter was trying to cool the hot potatoes by blowing on them. What would be happened if the had eaten the potato without cooling them? Then it will burn the mouth naturally. And the next question, if you want to cool these hot things, dal, roti, rice, which way you do so? What will you do? These all answers are from your textbook. Okay, and the workbook, tomorrow I will do the workbook in the offline. Okay, so I'll write all the answers of the workbook in your in the offline video. You just carry it and you just write it down from the offline video. Okay, and tomorrow maybe we don't have the no, I don't have any EVS class. If there is EVS class, then tomorrow I will do, otherwise you will get the EVS class in your offline video, and there I will do the answers. Okay, you can write your own, dear, you can write, but you just sometimes I write some different points, so you just tally them. If there is any relevant point, you add it. Okay, okay, now tell me, find out more about the music instrument. We know which musical instrument work with winds or work on the wind, any kind of wind. Can you tell me? No. Okay, so write these all. Yes, there are. Yes, some question I have written. Does the air from your mouth feel warm? Why? Air from the mouth feels hotter as it comes out after oxidation of the food. But the air which covers the distance, that mixes with the outside air and becomes cool. Now question 2, use of warmth air from your breath. The warmth handkerchief used to provide eyes or any injured part. And third, how do you cool dal, roti, rice, etc.? We can cool them by blowing air or kept in a broad container. So that's all for the class. There are some questions in page number 145. You just listen it. Put your finger under your nose. Can you feel air? So we feel acceleration, and that is a warmth air. Second, count how many times in a minute you can breathe. So it is your homework. Next one, jump 30 times. Do you feel breathless? Yes, we feel breathless. What was the difference, your count before and after? So when we are without jumping, when we are breathing, that time it will less, and after jumping, after the work, when we will count the breath, it will more in number. Okay, so that's all for the chapter. Tomorrow we will write the question answer in the workbook. Okay, so just give your presence, and please every day you just follow your offline videos also, because there we are doing a lots of work. Okay, thank you.